Good morning, everybody. Owning Your Love, number 42. I can't believe we're 42 days into this journey, and more, plus weekends, of course. If you're new joining me here, God said to me early in the year, Jonathan, it's time that you become responsible for owning your love. I have spent years pouring my love into you, and you're pretty aware of it. I've surrounded you with friends and family who absolutely love and adore you, and maybe you're the only one who doesn't believe it. So you can become responsible for believing that your heart is loved, that you are loved, and responsible for helping your heart believe it. And so it's been a journey of self-love for me as I have practiced loving myself, telling myself I love myself, and listening to my own heart, listening to my inner child as my emotions, as I get in touch with my emotions, as I listen to them, as I hear what they have to tell me, and then choose what to do as a result of what I'm learning from my heart. So it's a fascinating journey. I am feeling so present to myself. I'm feeling so whole emotionally. When chaos and things are going on around me, I'm feeling like a really calm center. I've been studying the Enneagram recently, learning more about myself as a type 2 and about my family members and friends, community around me. It's fascinating because the number one need for a type 2 is to learn to love themselves. The type 2 pours out their love on everybody else and helps and serves everybody and rarely thinks about their own needs. So I'd already begun this when I was learning that it's the number one need for type 2. And I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that hits home. So reading through how the 2 needs to ground themselves, needs to feel the earth under their feet, that even physically the 2 can develop strong chest and upper body muscles as they live up here with strong feelings and emotions. But a 2 needs to ground themselves and consider their whole body, their whole self, and understand that we can't love others sustainably if it's not coming from a place of consistent, holistic self-love. Self-love is nothing to do with what works for us and cutting toxic people out of our life. That's a separate conversation, and there's a place for that. There's a lot that can be said about that. There's a place for that. But that has nothing to do with loving yourself. And as I've loved myself, practiced this, I've discovered the more that I look within, the more I find God. The more I find God smiling back at me, saying, I love you. I made you like this. I made you this way. All these aspects of your person that you've been ignoring for so many years, I created you that way. You're a gift to yourself. I designed you just like this. And the more that I fall in love with all these different facets of myself, the more I'm left thankful to God for the beauty of what He's created in me. And the more that I can sit peacefully, contentedly with myself and be thankful for all the things God created in me, the more I can do it in you, and the more I can do it in my friends, and I can see the wonder that God has created in all those around me, and my wife and my children. So it's absolutely drawing me out to others. There's a paradigm that a bunch of different Christian thinkers have been talking about for years called up, in, and out. And it's often framed in the way of evangelism, and we reach up to God. We maybe allow God to bring some healing inside, and then we reach out in evangelism to the world. And I think that's a fine picture. But certainly emotionally, I'm seeing the truth of that as I reach up to God, I feel Him drawing me to look within, and I find the divine image within, which shouldn't be a surprise since we're made in the image of God. And He called us good, and very good, in fact. And then that draws me out to those around me. At the same time, I find a greater capacity to let those around me pour their love into me. And that love that's flowing into me, I'm finding in even greater capacity, I can channel and flow up to God in worship and praise and adoration and thankfulness. So it is truly enriching my life and my relationships and my worship, just coming to love myself. And all the different parts of what that means. Listening to myself, listening to my heart, valuing all of the range of my emotions, moving away from classifying any of my emotions as negative, understanding that all of my emotions have different things to tell me. Not always following through on what my emotions might propel me to do, still listening to the Holy Spirit to guide my actions. But one of those actions, again, is quietly listening to myself and accepting and valuing the pain that my heart carries, feeling through the pain, excuse me, to the other side, and finding peace and wholeness on the other side. It's fascinating, fascinating journey. So, yesterday I shared a story briefly about, excuse me, I need a drink this morning, about an issue my wife and I were working through, and a major heart issue that I had to wrestle with. So there's a short version of that you can check on my IGTV from yesterday. But I also just posted it to my Patreon under the name, basically, How to Forgive Your Wife or Your Spouse When You Really Don't Want to. So you can jump on my Patreon for like $2 or $3 a month, and I just put up a whole podcast about half an hour long, and I dig in really, really raw and vulnerable to an incident that happened 2 nights ago, where my heart just put up these major walls against my wife, and I could not climb over and be open and vulnerable with her. So I walked through that process and how I allowed those walls to come down by listening to my own heart and by hearing through what my heart was trying to say to me, and ultimately was able to extend forgiveness. So take a look at that. It's on my Patreon. Also, I just put up a podcast yesterday with Kim Walker-Smith, so go and have a listen to that. It's on the podcast. But let's tune into our hearts right now. Put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. Feel the seat underneath you if you're sitting, or the floor if you're standing. Tune into your present environment. What can you hear? What can you smell? You are in the center of God's gaze, and He is holding you right now as much as that chair or floor is holding you up. His image is within you and all around you. When you look at your own heart, can you see Jesus smiling back at you? Now, as you're aware of your own body, consider that the chair or the floor is your current self holding your inner child, your emotional core. Can you see yourself holding your young, pure emotional self gently and safely? Now, in this space, use your name. Speak over your self-love and acceptance. Jonathan, I love you. You're safe with me. You are so valuable to me. Words can't even describe how precious you are to me. You are beautiful and wonderful and good. And I'm going to listen to everything you have to say to me. Thank you for speaking. Thank you for feeling. I want to remain present to you, and I welcome your help in being present. Sit in that space. Let your love radiate outward from you. And feel it and keep practicing feeling it. Let me know how you're doing. Drop a comment. Send me a DM. Love to know how you guys are doing. Go check out those podcasts. Have a wonderful day.